Here we are, Chapter 8, Lesson 5, Least Common Multiple, page 577. Our essential question is, how are factors and multiples helpful in solving problems? Watch that fun video that we watched in class if you would like a reminder or just some fun. It'll be on Classroom for you. Least common multiple, LCM. A multiple of a number is the product of the number and any other whole number. Remember, product is the answer to a multiplication problem. Okay, so multiples that are shared by two or more numbers are called common multiples. The least common multiple, the LCM, is the least multiple other than 0 common to a set of multiples. If that still sounds like garbledy-gook, it's okay. We'll start to make more sense of it as we go. Math in my world. Example 1. Tom hits golf balls at the driving range every 3 days, practices putting every 4 days, and goes golfing every 6 days. If he did all 3 activities today, in how many days will he do all 3 activities again? Find and circle the least common multiple of 3, 4, and 6 by listing non-zero multiples of each. So here's where we list the multiples. Okay, this is like skip counting by the number. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. We'll pause there and see if we need to add. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 6, 12, 18, 24. So we're looking for the smallest number that all of them have in common. Okay. So this is a little bit different than the greatest common factor, where we were looking for the biggest number that they all had in common that were factors that made that number. Now we're saying you're going to multiply the number by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 6, by 7, etc. You're going to multiply the number by whole numbers and find the least common multiple, the one that they have in common that is the smallest number, the smallest multiple. So Tom will complete all 3 activities again in 12 days. Check our work. The number line shows on which days all 3 activities will be completed. So they chose a number line here. So you have day 0 to 12. On day 0, everybody does golf, putting, and the driving range. Okay, but every 3 days we do the driving range. Every 4 days we go putting, and every 6 days we go golfing. So that's how we can check when all 3 will be lined up again. On to page 578. Oh, I went too far. Example 2. Find the least common multiple of 15 and 40. So another way to find the least common multiple is to use prime factorization. So remember, when we do this, we're chopping up the number into what times what. 3 times 5 equals 15. Both are prime, so we're done. With the number 40, there's multiple ways to get there, but the book has started off with 4. So 4 times what is 40? That's right, 10. Then we ask ourselves, is 4 prime? No, so we have to continue chopping. 2 times 2. Is 10 prime? No, so we need to chop it up. 2 times 5. Notice that there's multiplication symbols in between each one of them. Now we have found the prime factorization because these are all prime. So we find the ones they have in common. Okay, they don't both have a 3. They don't both have 2's. They do both have a 5. The only number they have in common, the only common prime factor is 5. Find the product of the prime factors using each common factor only once. So what we do here is we take all of these ones they don't have in common 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And then we only take the one they have in common one time. We can't repeat it. So we're not going to put 2 5s. We're just going to put 5. Okay. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. And then 24 times 5 is, so if you don't remember, this is where we could set it up. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2 is 12. So it's 120. So the least common multiple of 15 and 40 will be 120. See how this is a lot less work than if we had done number lines of skip counting all the way up to 120. So part of this is going to be which strategy works best. The smaller the number line and listing off the multiples might be easier. The bigger the numbers, the more likely that finding the prime factorization will help you get to the answer more efficiently. Guided practice. Find the least common multiple of each set of numbers. 6, 12, 18, 24. I can use some number sense here. Okay, this is a 10. When I get to a number that ends in a 0, it's a multiple of 10. I can probably stop for a second. I mean, some of you might keep going, but I could stop because I'm like, oh, 10 will go into that. 10, 20, 30. There's my least common multiple. Okay, 3 and 4. So when we find a number in the multiples of 3 that we know 4 also goes into, our brain will probably say, oh, you can stop now. Okay, now we might not always know, so we might have continued on, and that's okay. But then as we compare, we'll be able to still find that same answer. But feel free to use your number sense skills on numbers that go into each other and stuff like that, looking for those patterns. It'll help you be more efficient.